welcome back. All footage today is taken with the WaterWolf 2K camera, which is the new and improved WaterWolf, and we're fishing in about 160 foot depth over sandy bottom, sand and gravel. That's what we're doing, and we are targeting turbot and brill today. Let's have a look. We will see a bit more of this fella shortly. Can you spot him there in the top right? You definitely can there. We are turbot fishing today, and we are down on some banks off the Sussex coast here. And the camera is going to be a bit jerky in places. I can't do anything about it. I am dragging a camera and baits along the bottom here, so bear with it. But there's a mackerel straight off the bat here. And you can see the sort of ground we're fishing on at the minute, and there's a gurnard, look, tub gurnard. Some of the species you get out on these banks, gurnards, cuttles, weavers. Obviously, we're targeting turbot and brill. But you do get a lot of launce and bass out here as well. And we're going to see all of those very shortly. Now, you're not just looking for sand when you're turbot fishing. Everyone thinks you got to have sand. You need the gravel as well in places. The turbot do like to bury up in this gravel and camouflage up. So don't just be looking for sandbanks. Fine gravel will do you just as well. Right, we're starting to see a ground change now. We are coming onto the banks. I've unfortunately picked up a stone here, which is why the bait looks so heavy. And I'm pausing it here. If you look in the background, you can see a very prominent bank. This is where we've come up and then you come down. And when you start fishing the banks around Sussex, a lot of them look like this. Very steep declines, very steep inclines. And this is why it's important to keep your bait in contact with the bottom. Because what happens is, like you can see here now, I'm letting the line off at this point. Obviously not in sight, but this means my bait is on the bottom and it's going up and down, traversing up and down these banks, and this is where those turbot like to sit. I call these doorsteps. Just where the tide is cut out, little wedges in the bank, and you can see it in the back left there. But this is a Launce Sandeel bait, but you can see here now ploughing through. This is where those turbot sit, on the back end of those steps, and you're going to see it in a bit, just waiting for one of these baits to pass by, and boff, they're going to snaffle it. But look at all that gravel and shell mixed in with that sand. This isn't just really wet sand. I mean, it is here at the top of the peak, but there's lots of gravel in there as well, and that's what we're after. That's where those turbot and brill are going to sit. And we've also now got an absolute menace of a cuttlefish. These, along with weavers, as you're going to see in a bit, absolute pain when turbot fishing. They chomp up the baits, they chew it up, they destroy it, and they can also turbot block you, which has happened to me in this very video coming up shortly. What I mean by that is they grab hold of a bait and they just hold on to it the whole time, and unless you're really tuned in, and it takes a long time to get that experience, you won't even know that cuttle is on there, and it will waste a whole drift just with nothing on there but a cuttlefish. At least a weaver gives you a bite. Here he is, look. Menace. Right, now pay close attention here, and I will slow it down for you again straight afterwards. I'm just going to let this play, and I want you to see if you spot it. So one quick more time, real time. And then I'm going to slow it down for you right now. Now, pay attention. Now, the bait had been stripped by a weaver previously. Absolute pains. I would have had this turbot had there been a bait on this hook. I could not have put the hook and bait any closer to this turbot's nose, who is sitting right here. Camouflaged up there in the top right corner, and I'll mark it up for you now. Look at that camouflage. It is absolutely perfect and designed to do exactly what it does. And then it lifts up and then it gives chase to the bait. And it does actually follow me for a little while. But the weight, and obviously the hook's got no bait on it, it drops down the little doorstep here. And there's that turbot lifted up to come and have a look at what has just gone past its nose. And then unfortunately it loses sight down this bank. And then if you look very closely in the top right corner, you do see it going off in the wrong direction. There it is up there. goes off in the wrong direction and I lose it. Looks like a shoal of mackerel there, but it's not. It's actually greater Launce. So Launce Sandeel that we use for bait, obviously for the turbot. But we was actually getting these really high up in the water. We were getting these 100 foot off the bottom when we were expect to get mackerel. We were getting these big Launce and we couldn't figure out why they were so high up in the water. And then we started hitting a lot of these things as well, and to some good sizes on both the baits and the feathers. And it's because there was a big shoal of bass working as well. I can't do anything about the clarity of the picture here, but I'll put a fish in that we caught on this same trip. But yeah, the bass shoals were actually harassing the Launce that much that the Launce were being driven up mid-water by the bass. And yeah, a lot of bass on the ground as well, the same time as we're catching these turbot. If you've done enough turbot fishing, you will be very familiar with these. In fact, if you've done any form of bait fishing, you will be very familiar with these. Certain states of the tide, absolute pain. And we've actually got two baits going past here at the same bit on the camera. But yeah, dogfish, absolute menaces, a bit like everything else out on the banks that isn't a turbot or a brill, to be honest. Grabbing the bait, swimming up, and this one comes all the way to the boat. Right, different part of the bank now. In fact, we're not even on the bank. We're before it or after it. I'm not sure. But this is the importance of being on the mark. The ground's completely changed. The camera light's gone funny for some reason. But we're no longer on that lovely sand and shingle. We are on horrible mud and stones and these spongy things that are just an absolute pain. If you come off your ground, it's really important to start narrowing down your drifts. Otherwise, this happens every single time. You cannot drag a razor-sharp hook that's exposed over rocky ground with sponges on it and not expect to catch. This will happen every single time. And as you can see, there is a lot of them there. So when you find your ground, it's really important you stay in tune with what's going on with your rod tip, feeling what's going on, looking at your sounder and narrowing down so your drifts are actually maybe shorter but on the right ground. Otherwise, this happens. Everything you don't want as a turbot fisherman now in this picture and the next couple of shots. This is a greater weaver. I have never seen so many greater weavers on the ground as I have this last sort of year, 2 years. At times, they're on you within seconds as they are here. And this here is just hell in one picture. We've got two weaver fighting over the bait on the hook. We've got a cuttlefish attacking the camera. And we've got another cuttlefish trying to get the bait off of the two weavers, and none of this means we are catching any turbot on this drift. Absolutely horrendous scenario for a turbot fisherman here. Oh God, look at it. What a mess.